live stream from Dulcimer Crossing. Today, our topic is get a grip. We are going to focus on how we grip our hammers and how we grip our picks. So, this is going to be a bilingual topic for us. I've got a couple of things I've got to do here so that I can see what you're asking about. So, let me get that open. In the meantime, you can grab your hammers and you can grab your picks. And let's go here. Good. Good. Is that page opening up? There it is. Good. And perfect. So if you want to reach and respond on and chat, do that on the Facebook page. Ooh, another way of going that I hadn't thought about, Doug. That's a very good suggestion. Let's come to that at the end. What I'm going to talk about first is hammer grips for playing the hammer dulcimer. Then we're going to talk about pick grips for playing the mountain dulcimer. And you're adding the other question of how do you make sure your dulcimer doesn't fall off your lap, which is something that I had a student yesterday ask me some specific questions about based on an experience that they had over the weekend playing in church. So this particular set of hammers has got a molded plastic grip that's blue. This particular set of hammers has got a big, long grip, much longer than the first one. But that's the place that I'm going to put my hands when I play. And let's see, let's have this set of hammers, which is kind of in between. It's a little bit longer than that one, but not as long as that one. This was made by Bob Bedard at Joyful Noise Hammers. He is retired now, but has the business and the hammers are being made by someone else in the same vein. Dusty Strings made these, and these hammers are from Nick Blanton in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, who builds Blanton instruments and also builds the Sam Rosetta instruments. These have places where, as you pick them up, you feel your thumb and your fingers start to get a hold of where you want to play, and you might have experimented with where on this you want to hold it so you can get the best rebound and the best swing. With nothing here and a long piece here, there are some people who love to play and get a particular accent by using their third finger to fling the hammer. Bang, bang. Tina Googler is someone who does that. And so if you want to talk to her, Tina Googler, Gugeler, she's in Erie, Colorado. Wonderful player, has won the national championship many times playing hammer dulcimer. That's one of the things she does. When the hammer grip is a little shorter, it's still reachable. And if that's the style you want to play where you do that, that is possible for you. That's not what I do. So if you want to talk about those things, you're going to need to talk with the people who do it that way. I don't do it that way. One of the things I do is try to keep my thumb aligned with the shaft of the hammer as much as possible, and then make a T rather than having them be perpendicular to each other. Like I have this shape coming that way and that shape coming that way. One of the things I notice when I do this is that one of the hammers likes to move. If I'm playing in the wind outside, this is almost like a sail. I can feel the wind pushing against my hammers. But if I create a T where I have my thumb going this way and my first finger behind the hammer doing this, I have more control over the lateral movement, and I can focus on the up and down. Now, the grip needs to be not firm. It needs to be loose enough that the hammers can rebound. If I hold too tight, I I don't get any tone because I'm pinching it. So I like to describe what I'm doing as throwing and catching the hammers. Flipping over to the bright side. Now in that case, I was giving myself some multiple hits on one side, answering with a single. That's one of those little exercises that can be very helpful in developing hammer control, but it's making use of my grip that I don't lose where the hammer is going, but I'm not holding so tight that I pinch the tone. So the grip has got to be relaxed, and the grip that is built into my hammer has a determination of how I'm going to hold it. Now I also have these hammers that I want to show you that have no grip on them. Oops, I guess I'm missing one of these. When I grabbed, I guess I didn't count. This is a Yangqin hammer, bamboo, very flexible, but you can see there's no grip here. But if I compare it to the hammers I was just using, it's a third again as long. The grip for this one is to hold with your fingers and have your thumb on top. That's the way that Zhao Jianing, who in the year that he sought a seat in the Yangqin Conservatory to play Yangqin, the Chinese version of this, there were 3,000 applicants and he got the one seat that was open. I took a workshop with him about hammers, and he spent an hour and a half of a 2-hour workshop talking about committing to your hammers. That changes how you play. But he was able to have all the action he wanted here by gripping the hammer this way with his thumb on top, and then he could do multiple bounces and things. Now, this isn't the way I play, so I don't have the technique that he does, but that's what he was able to do. These hammers came from Thailand, from the Kim. It's spelled Khim in English, but it's the Thai version of the hammer dulcimer, and the grip is similar. They're about the same length as the Yangqin hammers, and the grip is within your fingers. These have a little more weight at the top, and there's a nice thick suede on there. These, if they have a cover, it's much lighter, and if there's a cover, it's often like the medical tubing. Another name for the Yangqin hammers is called bamboo flying sticks in English. Now, similar to those are Bill Robinson's very flexible hammers. I don't know if you can see how much these are bending. When I turn them sideways, they don't have the same effect, but this is very flexible. And the head is very heavy. So my grip is going to be very different on here. One of the things that Bill does, these came shipped with this little piece of plastic to hold them together. But what he said is, when his daughter had braces, she had little rubber bands. Now, today with Invisalign, you might not be able to get these as easily, but he would put his daughter's rubber bands around here so he would keep track of how he called it choking up, just like a batter would on a baseball bat. He would choke up more with one hand than with the other. And he's using a lot of what the Chinese and the Kim players are going to use, some action with his thumb and some squeezing of the grip, which makes very flexible hammers move. It's a very different way of playing, and it's fun. It's a little crazy if you're used to fixed shaft hammers. The grip is going to be different. Now, Paul Van Arsdale wrote a piece, and I can't remember if this was Kicking Mule or Folk Legacy, but he talked about the traditional hammers he grew up with, and he learned from his grandpa Jesse, were hammers made from hacksaw blades or corset stays, which is the idea that Bill is using here, that It's flexible, but it's a little stiff. I got some hacksaw blades. They were tempered, so it took a very long time on a grinding wheel to grind these down to be this thin. They're not nearly as flexible as Bill's, and so my grip is going to be much more like with a fixed shaft hammer. Then I put piano felt on this side, but they are flexible. I got those hammers there. So it's a grip similar to that. And then there's these, which are like a hickory shaft, a little much stiffer than this, a little stiffer than that, about the same stiffness as the bamboo. These are covered with aluminum. And if you go over here, now I'm doing the similar thing with the hammers, even though there's no grip on the hammer. I've got it in a place where it feels like the right distance. Let's see if it's the same. Yeah, it's about the same. I've picked about the same distance from the head, and I'm making the T shape. So when I'm playing hammer dulcimer, the grip is going to be, the important things for me are going to be creating the teeth so that the hammer isn't sliding sideways as I throw it, and being loose enough that I can throw it and catch it on the rebound. And that's going to change a little bit between hammers that have a place for my fingers like this, hammers that don't, fixed shaft versus flexible shaft hammers. Now let's see if you've got questions about that. And I'm going to move my camera. I see there's a lot of similar, it sounds halfway. Yeah, it sounds similar to malleting handbells. Because I've never malleted handbells, that's I'm gonna have to go with your experience. If you find similarity, that's cool. And let's see. Let me refresh because the chat here got stuck and I saw something that went away and I want to see it again. And hi, Katie. Yes, you're saying I wish it wouldn't just hide all the. Oops, wrong video. That's the problem. Katie, you have a pair of Bill's hammers, and yes, Bill's crazy hammers. They're so flexible. They work great for his playing away from him style, don't they? Because then gravity works really well. Cimbalum hammers, yes, much longer. I don't have a pair of those. They're longer. They are gripped the similar way. Sometimes played between the first and second fingers. Let's take these as an example because they're longer. I'm gonna. Wow, that's much weaker than I thought it was going to be. But they'll be played between the first and second fingers. But the head is much rounder and it's wrapped with cotton and often cotton thread as well. But yeah, cimbalum hammers can be used. It's very interesting. I've seen some recent conversations in the Hammer Dulcimer page where people are talking about the cimbalum being a much more logical layout of the hammer dulcimer, while fifth tune people are saying, no, the fifth tune way is much more logical. And it's just like, it's where you come from that makes the most sense. Yeah, the grip between the first and the second hammers can be very difficult. It's also the grip that gets used for Dutch hop in the Colorado Dutch hop tradition, but the hammers are generally a little shorter as well. I had one student who was, his grandpa was a Dutch hop player, and he told his grandkids, whoever learns to play Dutch hop gets my hammer dulcimer. So he learned, but he had one grip was between his two fingers and the other one was between his finger and his thumb. So his way of, he said, and his was really fun. His band with his buddy who played guitar was called Hammered and Picked On, and they said they got that name from their wives. Anyway, he could never get the other hand to hold it the other way. So, and he called the way he played the bounce and roll because that's what Grandma told him. Now, could different hammers be used for different genres of music? Yes. Um, but a lot of it is in the hands of the player. What does the player want? But you will find a lot of let's see, David Lindsay hammers are much more like this kind of hammer with the flexible shaft and some kind of a head here that can be just wood or with a thin suede or a thick suede. But David Lindsay's are dance music, the big instruments that are more, they're much more similar to the Colorado Dutch hop in terms of sound, and old time music does a lot with that. That's kind of the hammer style that Rick Thumb uses as well. Linda Thomas, Kathy Barton, Para did as well. She's passed now, but there's a lot of people in that genre, or that play that kind of old timey dance music that will use that. That's the similar kind of music that Bill plays in Illinois, but he does it with his very flexible hammers. So you there you got the trade-offs, right? Um, let's see. It's not showing me. Okay, now let's see if I get to see all of the. There we go. I had to do that. Your first set were skinny popsicle sticks, double sided. Very cool. Now this is the hammered side of Get a Grip, but and let's put this back up here just so we can get the title of what we're doing today is Get a Grip. So when we're playing the hammer dulcimer, the grip of the hammers is really important. Now, as I talked about the mountain dulcimer, my way of talking about this is going to be basically with picks in my hands, but I love that you asked the question, Doug, is this a strap versus a possum board? So this instrument doesn't have a strap on it. It has buttons. Whoa, there we go. That I can put a strap on it. Let's get it under there so we can see. There it is. So I can put a strap on here, but what I'm doing in my studio right now is I have a chair that I can raise and lower, and I just lowered it a whole lot. Now I'm going to have to get up to raise it a little bit because it doesn't push you up. You have to get up yourself. But when I'm playing hammer dulcimer, I generally have it a little higher level, but then my knees are pointed away. There's a little angle toward the floor, but if I lower myself just a little bit, I've got a level playing field for my dulcimer. Now, in order to get a good grip on how I'm playing this, I have the dulcimer at an angle across my body. It's not laying on my knees, and then when I push here, it lifts up. I've got it tilted so that the base of the instrument or the lower bout is closer to my hip on the right side where my strumming side is, which also lets my elbow line up over the fretboard. So I'm not doing a strumming action that's pushing like this, which is also pushing my dulcimer away from me. I'm strumming in line with the way my elbow is pointing. And because I've got my knee underneath this bout, I can push up here and it doesn't really lift my instrument. Your body may be different. Your chair may be different. Your dulcimer may be different. So having it work for you is really going to make a difference. And that's, Doug, you're saying your lap isn't what it used to be. And so for you, having a strap that goes around your back and holds it where you can predict it to be is a really good strategy. Now, the other thing people have done is take those gripper pads that you use in RVs for putting your dishes in so they don't slide around when your RV's driving down the road. And they will put them on their lap and let their dulcimer stay on there, and it keeps it from slipping around. The long-term effect of that is it's a petroleum product, it's a plastic, and it can interact with the finish on your dulcimer and create a difference from the way the builder intended it, and you may or may not like that. So some people don't do that, but they'll get what's called a possum board, which is a piece of wood that lays on your lap that has those grippers underneath it. So the possum board stays on your lap. Then the instrument sits in the possum board, and it raises it just slightly, just a little bit off of your lap, so that your legs are not deadening the back of the instrument. I don't know if you're hearing the subtlety, but I'm hearing a big difference in what the tone of the instrument is when it isn't on the back of it. It isn't on my body. A possum board lets it sit up and provides what's essentially a double back. The Galax style instruments have a double back built in. So this is like a built-in possum board. That's the idea of what that is. I don't have, this is also big and wide. And so when it's sitting on my lap and my legs are level, it doesn't want to slip away. If I am not level because my chair is a little higher or it's a little lower and my knees are up, it's going to slide around more. The other thing that I've noticed is sometimes I'll practice in, a pair of pants that's got some jeans or something that's got a rough edge, and then I'll put on fancy pants to go perform. And when I put my instrument on my lap, whoosh, it can start to go away because fancy pants are a little slipperier. So that's one of those things you got to keep in mind as you're practicing. Practice in the pants you're gonna perform in, so that you know what you're going to need to do. Having a strap, we sometimes call that playing safe dulcimer. If you're using one dulcimer and having it strapped in at the angle and everything that you need, that's perfect. If you play a lot of instruments like you can see that I do, sometimes the strap gets caught when I'm trying to bring it up. And so some people like to have quick release straps, and they use one strap and then change dulcimers and strap it in. Other people have a strap for each instrument, and they just get in it. Now, I don't have a microphone in the way of what I'm doing, but when I am putting myself into the instrument by using a strap and putting it down, if there's a microphone right here, I'm likely to bang it. And I don't like banging it. I don't like hearing the microphone bang. I don't like the instrument banging anything, but it happens. Okay, so that's just the way that, thank you, Doug, for suggesting that. I hadn't thought about that for gripping. Oh, the one other thing I wanted to say is when my instrument is on my lap and I feel like I need to get up here and there's not much room or anything, when I have a strap, or I feel like right now this is going to slide off, so a strap would be much better for me doing this. You see gravity's taking that at a slow pace, but I can lower my leg if I have a strap on here, and I can play up here and then raise my leg, and the dulcimer comes back to where I was used to it. So having it secure enough and having a good grip on the instrument that way so that I can change what's going on with my left leg is a helpful thing. Now let's move our attention to picks. That's a hard one to see. Let's see if that's better. So when I'm playing with a pick in my strumming hand, picking or strumming hand, there are different ways that the grip can happen. You could be playing like this, where your fingers are all in, and it's a fist, and you've got the point of the pick out, strumming back and forth. What this does is means I'm doing all my holding of the pick with my thumb, because there's not much pressure happening up there. Some people will also grip between their first and second fingers and the thumb, and their fingers, the third and the ring and pinky, may be sticking out. They may be curled under, but we're basically now holding between fingers and thumb, and so there's a different distribution of where the tension is in the hand. Some people, that's a way the grip happens. Some people will hold on or grip their instrument with their pinky along the side of the fretboard, or they'll use two fingers. This instrument doesn't have a strum hollow. The fretboard stops, the tailpiece picks up. So there's no place for me, if I'm going to grip like that, it's just going to be posting on the body of the instrument. It has the possibility of deadening some of the tone compared to the way it is. Now this instrument, the bridge is at the tailpiece, and there is a strum hollow, and right along here I can feel where over the past 41 years that I built this instrument 41 years ago. Over the past 41 years, my fingers have worn a groove right here where I will post. But when I'm strumming, I'm usually not posting at all. You can also see there's the finish is worn away here where my finger has been posting. It's not worn away on the other side because I didn't do that. You can also see that this is where I did a lot of strumming over all these years because the pick has gouged up the fretboard. And I'm getting some fretboard click and clack. So I know my buddy Aaron May will hold it in the bluegrasser style of the fist, and I'll do that if I'll do that as a break. I usually hold it between my first two fingers and thumb, which is the way I held a guitar pick first. The other thing I do that's a little bit different, and this is not a grip, but I will not use the point. I'll use the rounder side of my pick. So in that case, I was using a big strum from the elbow. The pick grip, I just want to hold on to it so that it doesn't fly away. But I don't want to give a death grip on it that gives me tension in my wrist, because that'll end up going up my forearm, tension in my elbow, in my shoulder, my neck, and now I can't play because I've just given myself a playing condition that I don't want to do. The other thing about the grip is I'm gripping it and then not necessarily going straight across the strings. I'm going at a little angle, skating across. So, and by not using the point, I'm not digging down in between each string. I'm skating over the strings so that I don't have to have such a thick or a fierce grip on the pick that I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. Now, there are other people who will, let's see if I have any in here. This is a pick, this wood, that's got some, it was given to me by my German exchange student daughter. It's a heart, but it's also got some carving in. So my thumb fits here, my first finger fits here, and I like how that one feels, but that's a customized right hand thing so that my fingers fit in. As you're saying, Doug, you will have a rougher side on it to hang on to it. So some picks have a raised something. I had a friend who would take a nail and a piece of wood and take his picks and go bam, 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 and make 3 holes in the one side so that put a grip on the other side because something came out. I've had other people take sandpaper and buff them up so that there's a rougher edge. I've had people take sandpaper, cut it out, glue it onto the pick so they could have something to hold on to. I've had other people find picks that have cork on either side so it's thicker. And there are some that have 2 pieces of plastic put together The one that's like the holder of the pick has got a raised edge and it's much thicker, and then the thinner piece is inside. There's just a lot of ways people have addressed this so that they can hang on and have a light enough touch in the grip that they don't lose it, but firm enough that they can control it. The other thing is, if I'm playing strumming a lot, I have a one particular feel of what I'm holding on to the pick for. If I'm playing individual notes and playing a flat, I'm gonna hold it differently if I'm playing melodic lines or flat picking across the strings. I don't do a lot of flat picking across the strings in DAA tuning. That's much more of a droney thing for me. But in DAD tuning, I'll do that, and I will do that. So that's what Get a Grip is for today. Got a couple of things I want to let you know about. Whoops. Let's not knock everything over in the studio here. My wife says I like to be surrounded by all my friends. She's not wrong. Couple of things that are happening this week. I am giving a concert tomorrow night on onlineconcertthing.com. And so let me share my screen. And my theme for this is summertime porch picking. That's tomorrow, Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And then let's go back and stop sharing. Chromatic Dulcimer Summit is this weekend. But I've got to get the right Chromatic Mountain Dulcimer Summit. There it is. It starts with a THE. And let's share the screen. Dulcimer Crossing will help host the opening round robin conversation with the instructors. There are 4 instructors: Aaron May Lewis and Larry Conger, Sam Edelston, and Grant Olson. 5, and Stephen Seifert. All are going to be sharing their experience and wisdom about playing chromatic mountain dulcimer. And there's going to be a shopping hour that in the middle of the day that Ashley Ernst is going to host. And registration closes on Friday at 2 p.m. Central. So 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, not the other way around. 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, noon Pacific time. So there's still time for you to register. So that if you didn't have any idea of what this is all about, this is a way to learn it with the people who have done it the longest and the best. So that's coming up. Let's see. Time to stop sharing that. Our beta testers at Dulcimer Crossing have been invited to start going through the brand new site. And so that's happening for an update. And we're in the process. We're moving to the new thing, and it's coming. I'll tell you more. Oh, Doug, I'm sorry you're going to miss the concert. Patrons will get it. My patrons on Patreon will get an archive video of the concert. So that will be a way for you to still access it. And let's see. I think that's all I have today. Thank you for joining me for Get a Grip today. And I will plan to see you, if not Thursday or Saturday, next Wednesday.